Hey guys, it's Saturday. I'm Megan. The topic this week was chosen by Shane, and it's talking about if you've ever had to be a different person because of your gender identity or sexual orientation, and how you sort of deal with that split and just stuff like that. So, I've never had to deal with anything like that explicitly because of my orientation. And I don't know if that's because people that I live with, either in Seattle or in Utah, or other family members are just accepting, or if it's because being pansexual is a much more fluid label than being trans or being even lesbian. So I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I've never had to deal with that. I've run into things with Chelsea where that's my girlfriend. I don't know if you know. Where like her family, we were gonna go camping with her family, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like, is it okay if Megan comes?" And she's had family members be like, "Well, sure. I mean, that'd be great, but you guys can't act gay." And so we're like, "Okay, well, we're not going." Um, and the way she sort of dealt with that was she explained because the relative that said this has kids and didn't want that around her kids, and they're 12. So it's not like, I mean, no matter what age they are, that's a ridiculous thing to say, but they're old enough to understand and have their own opinions about stuff like that. And she just sort of talked to her relative and was like, this is where homophobia comes from. Like, you're projecting this to your kids that are learning to think about things like this, and they're at the age where their brains like developing and they're becoming like independent intellectual people, and you're projecting to them that this is a problem and it's something that is like on the outside or different in some way. And that's where all this crap comes from that we're trying to fix right now with like just equal rights and stuff like that. So that's how she dealt with that, and that's really the only place I've ever experienced. I don't know. I mean, that's not even splitting, like being two different people, but where we were expected to act differently. And the way we dealt with that was just saying, well, we're not going to come because that's not right. Um, so I do have family members that I haven't seen since I've come out, or since I've started dating Chelsea, that I don't think would be very accepting, and I'm not sure how I would deal with that. I think that they might ask me about it because I've got cousins, so they're kids, they might bring it up. And if they did, I would absolutely be honest and just say, I don't see my relationship now as a gay relationship. I just see it as another relationship with another person, and she happens to be a girl, and people happen to have a problem with that. Um, but in my head, it's not anything different than anything else. And just, I don't really care what they say. I'm sort of at the point where if my family doesn't accept me and they don't seem to understand where I'm coming from, then just because they're my family, it doesn't make me feel more obligated to like hide myself so that they'll accept me. Um, I'm sort of at the point where it's like you choose your family, because I don't see just being blood related to someone as an excuse to put up with their crap, or to not be upfront with them. And maybe that's harsh. I know that a lot of people might be like, you can't just say that, or you might not have control over that in all situations, and I completely understand that, but for me, that's where I'm at. Um, so that's that. The one place I have experienced having split personalities, just so that I can sort of talk about how I deal with this, is when I'm in Utah versus when I'm in Seattle, because going to high school in Utah and being around the mountains in Utah and doing all of these sports that are fine tuned for Utah, and then going to Seattle where I can't do any of those things, and the people just met me a year ago and they haven't seen me grow up, and they don't know where I went to high school. They don't know the friends that have like shaped my development and my growth and all of that stuff. It's different, and the people in Seattle perceive me differently than the people in Utah. And even though I feel like I act the same way and I project myself the same way, it's they. I think if they had to list like 5 characteristics that were like that epitomized me, they would say different things in Seattle than the people would in Utah. And the way that I've sort of dealt with that is to just be myself, which I always try to be, and not really get too hung up on what they say. It's never been an acceptance thing, so I don't feel like it's something I have to deal with, but it is weird at least. And I just try to be myself and not get too hung up on it, because they're still perceiving aspects of me. It's just different aspects, and it's something I'm not used to in Seattle. Um, but I just try to take it day by day, and the more they get to know me, I think the smaller the difference will become, and I think that's just life. Like, people are never going to perceive you exactly the way someone else did, and it might shake you up a little bit, but it's how it goes, I think. I don't know. I'm only 19, so I don't really know, but that's how I deal with it right now. And then the question is a body part that you wish you could change. And mine's an injury thing. It's not something I was born with. But I'll just show you this. My ankle, I dislocated it last 2 Mays ago. It's this one with the anklet on it. And I don't know if you can see, but it's bigger. Like, this bone is bigger than this one. I don't know. I notice it a lot. It pops. It's stiff when I use it. Stuff like that. And it really bothers me because I'm so active, and I like the idea of having a healthy, pristine body because I'm so young and I've never broken a bone or anything. And so that's just like my one bad injury that just seems to plague me. I hurt it snowboarding, and it gives me crap in rugby. I have to wear a big bulky ankle brace on it, and it's really annoying. So that's what I wish I could change. I'm going to cut this off because it's getting long. Have an awesome weekend, guys. Watch the World Cup tomorrow. I'm going to be watching it. It's going to be sweet. I'm really excited. Yeah, I'll see you next Saturday.